Hi guys to everyone, I'm Ada from Poison Rock, and for our storytelling, today we have an amazing woman, Kayla. Hi Kayla, how are you first of all?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure. Last time we had you to speaking about Dress the Dead and the band. Now I want to speak about you because I think it's good that people, know the musician as well, their background, their story. So I want to start just like the beginning. Who is Kayla?
Oh, well, I I definitely know who I am, and that's been a journey in and of itself. I've known who I am from a very young age, just because of my upbringing. But I feel that what defines me the most is my authenticity, and that's what I aim to bring to the music that I do all the time.
Yeah,
My authenticity and my spirituality, not so much in a religious sense, but in
yeah,
the beliefs that I hold, like in terms of like manifestation and believing in the universe, but also believing in the concept of a universe, but also believing in science.
yeah,
I'm not completely either or. And so I think those are the main things that define me. You know, the authenticity that I want to bring to the music, and also the beliefs that I hold that shape that music.
of course.
Um, yeah, but that I guess that would be a really short sort of summary of who I am and what I'm all about.
Yeah, and your journey with the music, how it started.
So I started in theater
Yeah,
back um, from the age of 5, and then I did a lot of musical theater for a long time, and then I did jazz for well, actually for a short period of time, but it had a profound impact on my vocals. And then I started singing in bands, maybe around the age of, I don't know, 17.
so really young. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so the love of your music basically started with in theater. So this is other aspects of you, and
Mm-hmm.
a little Kyla being an actress. So how is being on the stage? I mean, so you basically are all the time in the stage. So it's like the stage is like your home basically. So you feel some difference being on a stage, for example, for acting, and a stage for singing. Which is, in your opinion, the difference between acting and singing, for example?
Um, there's not much difference for me, and I think that that's what people have told me that that's what sets me apart from a lot of other people, is that when I'm singing with the bands and doing the songs, I'm acting. So um, and a lot of people hear that and they think that that means that they get to call me inauthentic because people don't understand what acting is. It's actually those actors, if they're doing their job right, like when you're going to see a movie,
Yeah.
if they're doing their job right, they're actually feeling those emotions in real time.
So it's tough sometimes.
It's tough, and
Yeah.
but it's necessary. And so yeah, I am acting when I'm performing the songs,
Yeah.
and I think that that brings an element that is missing from a lot of performance.
Yeah.
Just as a fan, when I go and see some bands, you can tell that, they're definitely feeling what they're singing, but it's not being conveyed in a way that
Yes.
translates.
Like, for example, there is not a completely, you can say, an emotion. The emotion, okay, can go out, but not completely. For example, if
Right.
you are singing about, I don't know, just the most common songs, for example, the heartbreaking songs. Maybe they are just singing,
Right.
just you see everyone with the lighter or with the cell phone nowadays. And maybe having acting skill, you can probably make feel to the other people deeper, I mean, in a deeper way, the feeling, because you are able to put all yourself in the song, because you are able to dig in your own, maybe I think, experience from acting, and as well life experience as well. I think is that.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I can see from your live, them there are so energy sometimes in your music that it's really going out of. I say screening because I'm seeing through a screen, but it's one of the things that I told you last time to remember that for me personally, you are one of the best female performer that we have nowadays, especially
Wow. Thank
for your range vocals. That
thank
it's
you.
completely versatile, and that's why that another thing that I wanted to ask is that did you make if you made any specific study for being able to have this sound that can go to the heavy metal, to the growling, to the screaming, but as well to the jazz, to the blues. You can do basically anything, everything. So, did you do particular studies, or it just came? It's like a gift.
I don't aim to do any particular styles. I think that I just when I when I'm looking at writing the vocals for a song, I just think about whatever whatever the song needs, but also whatever I want to put there. And
Yeah,
so I don't think, oh, I'm going to do a jazzy part here, or I'm going to do like a operatic part here. I just think, what do I want to what's going to serve the emotion? So I start with the emotion that I want to convey, and then I write the lyrics from that emotion, or from that concept or idea. And then I use the vocals as a way to translate the lyrics, um,
that's good.
in a sort of a I use the vocal melody and the way that I'm going to sing the melodies as a way to translate the lyrics, so that if somebody comes to the show, to where if they don't speak English, they would still understand what I was saying because of
Yeah,
the inflection that I'm using.
expression.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good. I mean, especially if like you were saying, that there's if there is no one that maybe singing in foreign country, I don't know, Italy for example, that people are not as good in English sometimes. So you can express yourself, and people, if it's an I don't know, an anger song, they understand that it's about energy and that thing. Yeah. So and one, I mean, you started as singer, or you played some other instrument. I mean, you have the love of just, for example, oh, I wanted to play, I don't know, drums, play piano.
I um I definitely need to learn how to play an instrument. I feel like it holds me back. It keeps me tied to having to work with other people.
Mhm.
I want to be able to do my own stuff.
Yeah,
If I were going to sit down and learn how to play an instrument, it would take me at least 10 years,
yeah.
um, because I'm very slow to learn that kind of thing. I don't know why vocal stuff comes to me naturally. And then when I try to learn music theory, it just, for whatever
Yeah,
reason,
like blowing
I just,
away. Yeah,
yeah. And well, even vocally, like I know music theory as it applies to the voice,
yeah.
but when I try to apply that same music theory to an instrument, that's where everything falls apart. So
But
I want to, at some point in my life, just to have freedom as an artist, but realistically, I don't see that happening anytime soon.
apart, I mean, your first band, of course, I think it wasn't Dress the Dead. So apart Dress the Dead, which was your first band? I mean, it's the beginning of you being in a band.
So my first official band, metal band, they're no longer active anymore, but that was really fun because that was all screaming vocals and there was only a little bit of clean singing, and I was studying in a musical theater conservatory at the time, so it was nice to have that separate, like,
Yeah.
I could go on Tuesdays and Thursdays and just scream instead of sing all the time, which was nice. And then I kind of learned how to scream there, and that I learned a lot about that. And Um, I think we played something like 18
Wow.
shows in like I don't know, it was something crazy like a 3 month time span. Um, so we would like play on the weekends. It
Yeah,
wasn't a touring band, but
yeah,
yeah. So it really more probably over the course of 6 months actually, but it was I learned a lot,
mhm,
definitely about performing and just the ins and outs of kind of what goes down
yeah.
because that I had my first concert with that band, so I just learned a lot about
It was your first,
sound check and all that. Yeah.
the first, you can say the first meeting, your first meeting with a stage, the musical stage, you can say, in a metal band, and how you met Dress the Dead. I mean, you how you get into Dress the Dead.
So Craig and I have a mutual friend, and they reached out to me when their last vocalist left the band and told me that I should reach out, and so I did. And I went to Oakland and I auditioned, and and then I got the gig.
Yeah,
So
that's amazing. Yeah, because today there is you're doing a lot of amazing work with that band. I was speaking, just hopping a little bit the Dress the Dead things, because of course we make like a little bit of update before of our previous interview. What's going on with things with Dress the Dead right now? You're planning some tour, working some new stuff.
yeah, so we recorded a new single back in October,
Mhm.
and we are working on getting our first record out.
Amazing.
And we're gonna try to hopefully we get to play Dynamo in 2022. It's been rescheduled for 2 years now.
Yeah,
Um, so if you think about all the time that we lost, like where we would have been by now if all of this hadn't happened, it's pretty depressing.
yeah,
But because it's wasted time, and I think as an artist, we all invest ourselves in this
yeah,
with, well, not all of us, but most of us invest ourselves in this with the expectation or the hope that we can reach a lot of people with our message. If you have a message and you believe in it, you want to gain recognition, not just to be famous, but to reach people with your message.
yeah,
And so that's really the downside for me. Not so much, oh, all the people who, that would have known who I am. It's not that. It's that all the people who would have had a chance to hear the songs
yeah.
and been
It's live.
moved by them. Yeah, it's like it's hard going for such a long time not being able to actually really pursue your life's
Yeah,
purpose.
yeah,
Um, and it's hard because a lot of people equate wanting to gain a lot of recognition as an artist with being some sort of musical, but that's really not it. If you believe in your message, then of course you want to reach as many people as humanly possible because
yeah,
that's what you're here to do on this planet.
yes, of course.
Yeah. So, and I haven't really ever had that opportunity to reach an appropriate level number of people for the kind of art that I make. I just think enough people don't get to experience what we do.
Yeah, but we hope that with this new year coming out, coming in, there will be more lives for anyone, because it's maybe it could be foreseen, the positive things, like a little bit cheering up. We can say that, yeah, it was a good period for meditate, find yourself, have a vision clear of what you want to do, blah blah blah. But of course it's frustrating because it's going for so long, and maybe you want a point, just go out there. Even for us, that we are get used to, make an interview face to face, or just go to the festival, to the concert, and have fun as well. It's frustrating doing this at home, not be able to even travel, because it's change. even for the fan, I think it's an exchange with the musician. They like you are singing, and they are getting your energy, and they giving you their energy back. It's like complementary things. So yeah, but
Yeah.
I really hope that this summer, at least, and in the next day, next years, would be more easy. Not I think it won't be completely free, but at least a little bit easy. So finger crossed
Yeah.
to all the gigs. You have some festival play booked or some gigs for 2022 booked already, or still in working?
Just the Dynamo thing.
That's great.
Yeah, and my other band has a show on Wednesday, which is
Yeah, I
exciting.
heard that. So tell me more about that.
It's just, it's just a local show,
Yeah,
and we're supporting Yob, which is they're huge now, and
yeah,
we went on tour with them in 2015, and they were huge back then. Now they're even, more popular, and it's exciting getting to play with those guys again. And it's just a tiny little.
yeah. Project. Yeah,
I think it's maybe like a 300 something capacity venue, but it's a really nice venue. And it's like a Portland thing. Like a lot of the
yeah,
venues are smaller size. That's why a lot of tours skip Portland unless they're going to play at the Moda Center, which is
yeah.
the big like arena type place here. um, but the venues are smaller size, but there's excellent sound systems, and it's just
Yeah. So the sound is yeah,
yeah, it's like no matter where you play when you come here, like
yeah,
if a band tours through here, you're going to have a good experience. So it's always really nice to
yeah,
play a hometown show, because all the venues are just so amazing. But it is a smaller show, which I guess is okay, just because of the whole COVID thing, and
yeah. Of course.
it
Yeah,
makes things safer.
yeah, yeah. Right now, yes. And just speaking about who was your, we can say, your main influences in that's the first, I don't know, singer that you want to say, oh God, I wish could be like her or like him, or maybe just give you the it just to start to sing.
Mm. Uh, I would have to say that's a hard one.
Yeah,
I've started actually changing my answer to this question, um, because I kind of it's I think we're all really disappointed. Like everyone who was a fan of Marilyn Manson is probably extremely disappointed at the goings on that have been happening, and obviously I can no longer support him as an artist.
yeah,
So normally my answer would be Marilyn Manson, because that was my entry into heavier music, and then I started listening to heavier bands after that.
yeah,
But I can't stand by that. I can't say that anymore. So um, I would say after that,
yeah,
got into so I got into like Linkin Park,
yeah.
and then I started listening to like Meshuggah and
Oh,
heavier bands like Decapitated, and like
yeah.
you know bands like that.
And
But
for
in
more,
terms
yeah, for
of
music in
vocalists,
general, yeah, more like Kayla. What I don't know which singer really makes you feel like, okay, this is my type of not only metal, but it could be in jazz, blues, hard rock, punk, any type of music.
yeah, I mean, I definitely grew up like as a very young child listening to Whitney Houston, but in terms of like rock and stuff, I would say mm, definitely Christina from Lacuna Coil. I know that's so like typical to say, but it's true.
No, still no one told me that to me, at least. They were singers, so
Oh,
it's the first time, and it's an honor because she's an Italian singer, so it's an honor for
yeah,
saying that. Yeah, because she's great.
yeah,
I have to, yeah, she's great.
yeah.
Yeah.
There was that, and then like I was into Evanescence, and I was into like, um, all like Nightwish and stuff. Like that's, I definitely went down that route as well. Um, Before I started listening to like heavier bands.
Other stuff.
I like went down the, female fronted route, not so much because, and I hate that term, but I guess that's what you would call it. Because I was just looking for other people that look like me that do this, right? I wasn't so much saying, "Oh, I'm only going to listen to bands with female singers," but I definitely was sort of looking for examples,
Yeah.
not so much to follow or copy, but to be inspired by. And
Wow.
so, yeah, that definitely.
Yeah, that's amazing. And just since you, of course, you were acting as well, and of course, we are digging a little bit on about your history. And what about the acting? Which is your, okay, we can say, if you have some actor or artist in the theater or scene that inspired you?
Mm,
This is a different question that I don't seem to do with the music, but it's just, of course, for knowing you better.
yeah. Well, that's a hard one because I think I'm trying to think of like the first acting performance that really struck me.
Yeah.
You know,
There are so many
that's
actors,
such that's such a
so
hard
there are
question.
so many actors and actresses that it's not easy. But like, I'm gonna say, into just the first thing comes into your mind. Doesn't have to be, you can say your main. Just sometimes, if you think to acting, who comes into your mind, like in music, like randomly.
Yeah. Well, when I was 5, I saw The Wizard of Oz, and that is what
Wow,
made me want to sing. So
that's
there's
amazing.
that.
Yeah, with the red shoes,
uh,
with the red shoes, that's amazing.
yeah. So
And before ending in the interview, I just wanted, because of course you know that I admire you a lot as a woman because you're a really strong woman in my opinion. I, especially because I'm nowadays there are a lot of new girls that are going to the music scene, and maybe you know that all with this competition there are with the between France, music in all the world. What will you feel to say to this girl they are going inside, but only if even boys, we can say to both of them, to tell them they are going, for example, say, I just want to go to sing, I want to go to play. Just an advice to
mm,
be someone that is inside the musical scene and as well the theater scene.
I would say that unfortunately, if you have a high level of talent, people will give you a hard time. People will make things more difficult and more unfair for you than they already are. And this is me just being 100% real. People will make things more difficult and more unfair for you than they already are. You're going to have to work harder than everybody else, not because you're not as good as them, but because you're better than them. Um, I learned that the hard way early on. Um, People will look, if you're really, really good at what you do and you really have the ability to impact people with your music and touch people, you're going to have a really hard time because there's a lot of fake shit out there. And people don't want the attention taken off of them and placed onto somebody, much less somebody who actually deserves it. So, not that there aren't people succeeding that don't deserve it. It's just that there are some who don't,
Yeah,
and those are the people that are going to try to make things hard for you, most likely. As in terms of competition, it's not really so much competition, but I think that, you know, there is an issue with gatekeeping in this, and I hate to be the one to say that because had not experienced that up until this past year. Gross. And I sort of had my first experience of being told no because of my gender, and hopefully not because of the color of my skin, but I know for sure it was because of my gender. And that really shook me in a way that I had not been shaken before. It made me very angry.
Yeah.
And people really have, if somebody somewhere decides that they don't like your gender or the color of your skin and they are in a position of power, they really have the ability to make things really fucking hard for you in this industry. And so just keeping it 100% real, know what you're getting yourself into, know that you're going to have to work your ass off harder than, especially if you're a minority trying to come into heavy music, you're going to have to work harder than everybody else. You're going to have to slave for hours and hours more than, because everybody else is already slaving and working hard. You're going to have to work harder. And that some might disagree with that, and some might say that that's a toxic thing to say. I'm not saying it should be that way. I'm saying that it is. And I learned that the hard way. And I actually had my first run in with that kind of experience this past year. And it really, I knew that it existed. I just thought, oh, I've been lucky. I haven't had to deal with that. I think actually on the last interview we had,
Yeah.
you asked me something like that. And I said, well, I'm really lucky. I haven't had to deal with that yet. And that changed this past year. So, and I knew that it would eventually happen, right? So I just would say, if you decide to do this, you cannot give up. You can't stop. Once you start, you have got to keep going, because people will make it really fucking easy for you to want to quit. Not just to want to quit, but to want to give up on everything,
Yeah.
to give up on life and to just move to a fucking island somewhere and say fuck it all, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's the level of upset that you will encounter,
Yeah.
to having to deal with some of the bullshit that goes on in this industry. And I've barely touched the iceberg of it, and I'm already pissed the fuck off.
Yeah.
Um,
Because in this
so I just want to keep it real.
no, you're right, because in the life, in each, we can say, field of life, can be music, art, I don't know, even commercial, whatever. It's hard, especially women, or that have to be, they have to be fight even for be equal to another person, and even if you're equal, you're not. You're always a step down. So you have to fight, and because you will be not enough. Or there is always this message: you're not good enough. You have to do more. You have to do more. It's not the right things, because it's like a way to say, okay, you can go home. No, people have to go all the time, move on. It's like what happened to me a lot of time. I thought, okay, okay, people are not following me I thought I would be. I'm a woman, so maybe some musician or guy thought that I was doing this for, wow, for what, for getting to know the band. That's not what I was doing,
Right.
and I didn't care. I just go and do it, even if I had like 2 followers or 1 people just looking at the interview, because I didn't care. The interviewer there, so do all the time, because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will do it. Like, say you are your own boyfriend or girlfriend, you have a relationship with yourself, not with the rest of the world. Comes like, you have to
Yeah.
be strong in
Well,
yourself. Yeah.
yeah, and it's so interesting because I feel like people have this uncanny ability to pathologically lie to themselves. So if you're the type of person that they don't like, if they have um, if they have a judgment, or they're, if
Mm.
the kind of person that they don't like or that they're threatened by, all of a sudden you just gave an amazing performance and their ears don't work.
Yeah.
You all of a sudden you suck.
Yeah.
And so it's just, and people will lie to themselves and they will take that shit to the grave.
Yeah.
So I think that it's not so much about trying to convince these people of anything or trying to, my friend posted this thing on Facebook the other day that was really poignant. It was like a meme.
Yeah.
You're still an artist, even if you haven't been picked by a gatekeeper yet.
Yeah.
And that was really,
Yeah.
I mean, I just got chills when I read that because it's so true. And yes, it's frustrating because your quality of life is deeply affected by the amount of extra work that you have to
Yeah.
put in. The all of the hours spent being better, trying to be better and more talented when all you want to do is just convey your art and touch people. You don't
Yeah.
care about being the best, but
No.
in order to get anybody to listen, you have to be because of the color of your skin or because of your gender. And it's really frustrating because not everybody is out here chasing fame. Some people are just wanting to get somebody to listen to their music.
Yes.
And people like that have made it hard. And so now, whether or not you want to, you have to engage in this kind of game
Yeah.
of let me see if I can hit a super high note. Let me see how much better I can get, and it's exhausting. Um, but I don't quit, and I think that um, I've committed myself to, even if I can't make anything happen, I would still keep going just to spite people
Yeah.
who tried to stop me. That's who I am. So if you're going to stop me from doing this, you're going to have to fucking kill me. Um,
I agree.
and I would deeply encourage anybody who is a minority who's trying to get into this industry to adopt that mentality before you begin.
Yeah.
It will save you.
Yeah. Of course. Of course.
And that's just me keeping it 100. Um, I don't want to be fake and I don't want to say shit that's not true. That's the truth, and that's what I've been experiencing recently, to a
Yeah.
very small degree, right? So I feel like I'm probably disproportionately angered by it. I'm sure that there are other people who have experienced this to a degree I couldn't even imagine, right? And that kind of alarms me too because it's like I barely touched the iceberg, right? Like no, barely anybody knows who I am. I'm barely having to deal with this kind of thing, and it's already pissing me the fuck off.
Yeah.
So
But
who knows?
so, what we could expect about you in the early future, in the near future?
I honestly don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if any of this will. Um, I have hopes. I have dreams. I want to be able to keep making music. I'm not going to stop, but to say that I believe that something I'm doing right now is going to take off would just be a lie. Um, I think it's so fucking hard, just like I said,
Yeah.
to be a woman in this industry. And I hope that things do work out, but I can't tell you with 100% certainty that they will, not because I don't believe in myself or the people that I work with, but because of everything that I just said. So,
Yeah. Of the surrounding. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if you ever gave a shit, I'll just like address the audience right now. If you ever gave a shit about me or anything that I've ever done, please go support my bands because
Yeah. And I
it's
can
rough out here.
it's an
It's really rough
amazing.
out here.
No, you're just that it's an amazing band, and from you to Craig to each people that are playing there, it's an amazing band. It's you can feel the energy, you can feel the power of this band. It's has to be only what we were saying at the beginning. Only go to the stage and open everything, and it will be just completely dates, gigs. So that's why I hope to see you in some
Yeah.
festival here in Europe. So we can have a really a cool interview face to face and just have a laugh about
Yeah.
all these. Oh, do you remember when we were speaking through Zoom and now will be just face to face, sitting on a chair, drink some coffee, a tea.
I think, that would definitely be a dream of mine to make it to Europe someday. I feel like as an American musician, like when you get to go tour Europe, that's when maybe not that you've made it, but that things are finally starting to move in the right direction. I just can't. I don't know if it's ever going to happen, to be honest with you. But all I can do is
Oh,
keep going.
yeah, just let's hope that with this
Yeah.
new year coming in, it will happen. Just who knows? Every every day is different, so every day is like a surprise. So I just want to say thank you because all the time it's really like speaking about life with you, and it's speaking music life, and it's really important that people just not only listen to music taste, because of course we already spoke about your taste of top five in the other interviews. So if people want to see it, they go to check it. I wanted to speak more about you because it's important they know who Kayla is. So thank you so much, Kayla. It's really a pleasure. And next interview, I would hope it will be live this time. Finger crossed, because I really would like to. Thank you so much, and and I love your video clips. Every time I'm following you, even on TikTok,
Oh,
Instagram, you're an amazing voice. For me, you are one of the in my top two, because first is like I tell you one. This is a woman, Leather Leone. You are. I never found a girl like her. There's this with the same force, the same strength, and
oh,
and the same vocal. You have it. So for me, it's like okay, there is another one, and it's good. So you are one of them. For me, it's really always an honor to have a talk with you. So thank you so much, and I will send you the links about this when this storytelling will be out. And let's stay in touch always, and have a good holidays then. So much. Have a nice evening, Kyla. Bye. Bye. Bye.